Focus this morning will be for those who are preparing for wedding, especially in the Catholic Church. The reason for this message is because so many of them will come at a time that is too late for the church to help them in this preparation. So there is a need for us to know the mind of the church in our preparation, particularly for wedding in the Holy Catholic Church. I will pray that whatever it is that will make you not to listen to this video to the end, that you keep it off. And as it is, let every of your friend who you think will be preparing for marriage go through it too. It will help them. And so you might find within my collections other very, very interesting topics. Look them up. It will help. So this morning I would like to share with you the mind of the church in preparing for wedding. Even if you have wedded, it might be necessary that you let others who are close to you that have not wedded see this video. It will definitely be of help to them. The church expects that you get across to the church 6 months before the day that you wed. 6 months. 6 is important because these 6 months will be for you a preparatory time. So many people don't take that into cognizance, and the mistakes they make is that 2 months, even some less than 12 months before their wedding, they are coming to the parish priest to say, I want to wed. The priest might not be in a position to tell you not to wed, but definitely that time is too short for you to be able to make any reasonable preparation as the church will require. And so the ideal time for you to approach the church is 6 months. 6 months before your wedding. The weddings don't just come by chance. You probably had given it a thought. You've met who you are going to get married to, but don't wait until it's too late. The church says 6 months, especially in the Diocese of Lagos, is a metropolitan see, a collection of people from diverse tribes, diverse nationality, and people meet here, they get married here. And so there is a need that 6 months to the time that you intend to wed, you go and meet the priest and tell the priest of your interests. And the priest will go through an interview with the priest. The reason for the interview is for the priest to be sure that the necessities are there. Sometimes people come to present others who have been married but have not gone out of the bond that they are into, and they are seeking a new bond. And so the interview might reveal that. The interview might also reveal the fact that the church is saying that you're not supposed to get married to somebody that you have a blood relationship with, and other reasons. The priest will ask you certain questions that will look towards revealing these aspects of the church stand concerning marriage. And if all your answers are in the positive, the next step is that he's going to issue you a paper to the secretariat, and the secretariat will now pick it up from there. What will the secretariat be requiring of you? A form will be issued to you where you fill in necessary information, and from there they will give you a paper to go to their marriage school. Every Catholic church in the Diocese of Lagos has established a marriage school, and the marriage school for some cases run between 12 and 14 weeks. Some of them are done on Sundays, some of them are done on Saturdays. There are other churches who work out modalities to have theirs within weekdays. So normally the courses are done 2 hours in all the days that they choose to have the classes. And the courses that you will be exposed to are the courses that are related to life, related to marriage, related to relationship in that marriage. And a lot of people shy away from discussing issues that are affecting them even in the classes that they take. No matter the title that you find from the churches that you will go to, because The titles of these classes are not all the same, but you will be exposed to the discussions that are related. First of all, you are taught of the church's mind about marriage, church's teachings about marriage, and you look at also the sacraments of the church. The sacraments of the church. There are 7 sacraments, and in looking through the 7 sacraments, at the end, they center on the one that you're preparing for, which is the sacrament of matrimony. And mentioning sacraments, you are expected before you wed that you would have gone through baptism as a start. You would have gone through communion, Holy Communion. And if it was possible for you to have also gone through the sacrament of confirmation, beautiful. But if you have not done the sacrament of confirmation, there's no problem. You can still go into marriage with these first 2 that I have mentioned. And so, apart from these sacraments of the church that you will be taught, you will also be taught about prayers. You will be taught about domestic violence and how to keep away from trouble. The relationship between you and your husband. Relationship between you, your husband, and his family members. Relationship between you, your wife, and her friends. You will also be taught about sexuality in marriage. It's important because most people go into marriage with the idea that they have of boyfriend, girlfriend thing. It doesn't function the same way in marriage. That's where most people get into trouble. You will also be taught about how you resolve conflicts if you are having any in your marriage. What brings about the conflict, how to go about the resolution of the conflict, the need for you to be forgiving in your marriage. You will be taught about domestic violence. I guess I've mentioned that before, how to keep away from it. All these things are the issues you will see in life. And if there are no point of resolution in what you go through as husband and wife, you will be taught about how to resolve problems, how to solve issues when you have any in your marriage. And the thought there will be all about discussing. Husband and wife, you sit down together and talk out your problem. A lot of people have issues because they depend on friends, they depend on relations. When they have issues to talk about, they rely on those ones to give them feeders of how to be in marriage. It doesn't work that way. I keep announcing, I keep shouting, I keep saying it, that no 2 marriages in the whole world are the same. No. Yours cannot be like your father's. Yours cannot be like your mother's. It can't be like your relation's own, because each person is going into a marriage with the understanding that you are independent. You are just who you are, with an intention anyway to make some changes. And so this teaching that we take you for at least 14 weeks is 14 weeks into the 6 months. And the best you can do is to end these classes and be able to sit down within yourself and keep asking yourself the question, is it possible for us to continue this relationship now that we are open to so many information? And if the answer is yes, you can continue, then you go ahead. Some people come into the idea of marriage even with the shortness of time that the bands of marriage can be taken. The church is so strict about bands of marriage, especially in a society that is as diverse as the world is creating it to be now. In the olden days, right there in the village, everybody knows everybody. But in a big city where you don't even know the state where your spouse comes from, except explained, it is important that the bands of marriages are announced. And some people just get one sheet and fill and return. Bans of marriages are quite serious. You are expected to announce the ban in the church where you are attending regularly. The church, that is your parish. The announcement has to be done in the church of your origin, where you come from, your village church, where your parents are known. It's also expected to be announced in the church where you are going to wed. if it is different from these two that I have mentioned earlier on. There are people who they come from a different church as church of origin. They come from a different church as church where they regularly attend. They are not regular parish. They also come, it's a different church for where they are going to wed. So if these three are all different, you are expected to return three different bands. Three different bands. Remember that this information about your wedding started from a church, and that is the same church where documentations concerning your wedding will need to be done. So you are from this church. It might be different from the church where you'll be sent to for marriage class. And so the church of origin, as far as preparations for marriages is concerned, is that same church where you were interviewed. And if for any reason you need to go for marriage class to another parish, the parish priest will issue you a letter to that parish where you are expected to go for marriage class. And after that marriage class and the bands are ready, then other preparations can hold. Before now, there used to be a situation where you are expected to get a license to wed or marriage certificate for marriages already done in the civil courts. But these days, lesser attentions are paid to that. I was told why it was like that, but I don't want to make it a public opinion. A public information now. But that aspect is no longer seriously required by the Catholic Church. And so this other aspect of your preparation has to be done consistently. We are forced to bridging it these days because people come to you less than 8 weeks, 10 weeks to their wedding, and they want you to do the miracle. There is no miracle in it. There's no miracle in it. The best you can do is to finish all these preparations far ahead of time. Even if you are done with marriage class and you have 6 months ahead, there's no problem. The only thing is that bans of wedding also expire. And so if bans are announced and concluded 6 months after and you've not used it, it would have expired. If you must have to go ahead with that same wedding, you may need to go back to renew the ban. Why is the church being very consistent and insisting in some of these things? Is because a lot of things are happening within our society, and the church is protective of the one that belongs to it, and that protection is to ensure that their daughters, their sons don't go into marriages that are defective, that are quite defective. So please prepare on a good time. Go to the parish office on a good time. Arrange yourself on a good time, and it's well with you if all these are done ideally for the purpose of your marriage. God bless you. Thank you for listening.